Hello, beautiful. I'm your host, Nicole Goff. Welcome to the Ecstatic Life Podcast, the podcast for women who want to live fully embodied, nervous system regulated, open-hearted, radiant, and alive. Here we explore the practices, modalities, and lived rhythms that return you to yourself, to your heart, to your body, your intuition, and your divine spark. This podcast is for women who are ready to awaken their inner creatrix, activate their inner manifester, and remember, an ecstatic life isn't a destination. It's the path we're walking together. Hello, and welcome back to the Ecstatic Life Podcast. I am host Nicole Goff, and welcome to a solo episode on cycle syncing for sustainable productivity. So I used to think that something was wrong with me when I would have low periods. I would have a dip in my energy, or I would just feel tired or like not getting out of bed. Like honestly, sometimes there would be days where I'm just like, oh my God, I just want to lay around. And so I really felt like I had to push myself through those days. I really felt like I had to muscle my way, like get in that masculine energy and muscle my way through it, stick to my commitments and stick to my routine. And if I didn't, I was a failure. And so if I didn't, then I would be hard on myself. So, it'd be like sometimes I would be in peak energy and feeling amazing and productive and be out there, recording podcasts and anything else that I'm doing in my life, just fully there and tuned in and turned on and alive. And then suddenly there would be a dip, and I would see those dips as something wrong with me. And what I had to learn is that there is nothing wrong with that was actually part of my nature. And part of what has really helped me, a tool that has really helped me to understand this, is cycle syncing. And so what is cycle syncing? Well, your cycle, most people just think of our menstrual cycle, but actually, as it turns out, women are cyclical beings. We are aligned with the phases of the moon. We are aligned with the energy of the earth. We actually are cyclical. We are aligned with the seasons of the year. And we are cyclical beings, whether or not we are menstruating. So this could be because you're in menopause, you've had a hysterectomy, you're in lactation amenorrhea, but you might not actually be cycling menstrually, but you are still cycling energetically. And so once I started learning about this, it really opened me up in so many ways. And so what cycle syncing is tracking these ebbs and flows, tracking your energy, tracking how you are connected again to the cycles of the earth and the moon and the cycles in your body, and then planning out your productivity, or at least understanding and accepting or being more in flow with where you are during the month, during the year, and then applying that to your mothering, to your business, to your life in general, to the plans you make, even vacations and things like that. So this has been a really amazing tool, and I'm super excited to share more about it with you guys. So I believe that women have been expected to perform like men for many years. And I've touched on this in a lot of my other episodes, but I believe that the feminist movement was at the root of this, and that is honestly a part of an agenda to get women into the workforce and out of the home. But that's a conspiracy theory direction I won't go in with this particular episode. But we were taught for so many generations that we needed to perform like men, to compete with men. And the masculine energy is very linear, and the masculine energy aligns with the sun energy. And men, the masculine body, the male body, is on a 24-hour cycle. The feminine body, the feminine energy, aligns with the moon, aligns with the 28-day cycle of the month. Now, again, our months are now broken up into odd and random days and not actually planned according to the moon as they should be. And again, that is like a whole other podcast on conspiracy theory, how they're fucking with us and our circadian rhythms and everything else. But if we were to follow a more natural calendar, it would monthly follow the cycles of the moons. And our bodies, our female bodies, follow that same rhythm. So before cycle thinking and before learning to soften into my feminine energy more and understanding my feminine energy more, I was trying to push through and to stay in that masculine energy, maintain that same steady energy all month long. And that causes exhaustion for the feminine body. That causes exhaustion for a being who is naturally supposed to be in the feminine energy more than not. And of course, that not only led to burnout, but that led to feeling disconnected from my body, to feeling confused about my ups and downs, my emotional shifts. And it also caused a lot of guilt. So guilt specifically around when rest was needed. And so I actually found out about cycle tracking through the Fast Like a Girl book. And in this book, it breaks down to eat and how to eat, when to fast, and how to fast according to what time of the month you are in, what part of your cycle you're in. And this kind of like blew my mind. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, if my needs, if my physical needs, my dietary needs are changing throughout the month in this way, then what are these other needs that are changing? How is this affecting other areas of my life? And she touches on some of the more energetic needs in that book as well. And that really got me on this deep dive of wanting to, really learn about myself as a cyclical being, to have awareness of my hormones, body literacy, really, and understand that there was a pattern, and to track that and to analyze it and to really then start to integrate it and honor it and respect it. And it's so beautiful because really women have natural seasons throughout the month, seasons throughout the year, seasons throughout their life. We have an inner spring, summer, winter, fall, winter. And when we honor those changes, when we honor those cycles, when we honor that nature within us, your life feels so much more easeful and beautiful and magical. And a lot of the way that I related to myself and a lot of the old programming and habits that I had kind of started to fall away as I dove deeper into this work. And so one of the things that shifted majorly for me was that I stopped feeling guilty about resting. And if you're a woman, but especially if you're a mom, I am sure you can relate to this, that there is this culture around like being proud, being praised, being looked at as good if you are overgiving and overdoing all the time, and guilt that comes with honoring your need for rest. And a lot of us, me included, would go until you hit a wall, until your body actually starts breaking down, whether that's with like an illness, like an acute like sickness, or a chronic illness, or you have some kind of accident, like something happening that stops you, that puts you down, puts you in bed. And most notably for me, after all 5 of my babies, except the last one, after I started applying this, this shift, this energetic shift. But with the other 4 before that, I got mastitis, which is crippling. It's an infection in your breasts from breastfeeding. So for the first year after each of those babies' births, I got mastitis at least a dozen times. And this is because I wasn't honoring my need for rest in the postpartum. I wasn't staying in bed. I wasn't letting other people care for me. I was up and I was doing and I was giving, cleaning, cooking, taking care of everyone around me, and not honoring my need for rest in that period. And it was very notable because mastitis will put you down for 24 hours. You have a high fever, like delusional fever, can't get out of bed. Your whole body hurts. It's an excruciating experience. If you have ever had it, you know what I'm talking about. But that was my body. That was my body saying, enough is enough. You have to stay in bed. And because I wasn't honoring that need for rest, my body made me. My body made me do it. It's like, nope. And so now I have stopped feeling guilt for that need. I have stopped feeling guilt when I take the time to just read a book or take a nap or sleep in. I used to feel so much guilt if I turned off my alarm and went back to bed. Like I was doing something wrong. To who, right? To who? But now I know, especially at certain parts of my cycle, that that is a genuine need. That is rebuilding, that is repair. And that if I don't honor that need for rest, I'm actually hurting myself. I mean, how many of us have even been taught that there is a certain part of the month where we do need more rest, where that actually is going to help us during the rest of the month? I think that this wisdom has been kept from us intentionally, again, intentionally kept from us. And so I'm reclaiming that, and I want to help you to reclaim that too. Another thing that I stopped is expecting my hormones to be the same all month, expecting that my energy to be the same all month. And again, this is, not being in line with that masculine energy, that sun energy, with men, if you think about it, they have their energy peak and then their energy drop like throughout the day, then they sleep and they start it over and they can go on repeat. That is hormonally matched to men. That is energetically matched to men. But women aren't like that, You might have 3 days in a row of high creativity and just be like, boom, getting everything done and just putting yourself out there. And then later on in the month, you might have 3 days of total lowness where you're just like feeling sensitive and in need of rest and being alone and not wanting to be seen. And it's not that one is good and the other is bad. It's that your energy is fluctuating. Your needs are fluctuating. Your hormones are fluctuating, which means your mood is fluctuating throughout the month. And yes, we all know about PMS, and this isn't just PMS. And honestly, I will say too, and I have a free workshop coming up where I'll get more into this. When you honor your needs during the rest of the month, that whole PMS thing, maybe I won't go as far to say PMS is a myth, but PMS does not have to be what most people think it is. Yes, there are the syndromes, premenstrual syndromes. There are certain people who have, for one reason or another, a diagnosable problem with their hormones, whatever. But I'm not talking about that. Like, I think the vast majority of women don't have to get all those massive PMS symptoms that we're used to struggling with, because if you put the right nutrients and the right amount of rest, the right recipe during the right time of the month, then when you get to that point where you're about to head into your bleed week, it's not going to just all come crashing down, because you will have built and your body is in alignment with the cycle that it is supposed to be in. And again, even if you are not cycling, you're not menstruating anymore, you will still have these ebbs and flows of energy. You will still have peak energy, low energy throughout the month, because, and again, even if you've had a hysterectomy, and that changes your hormones, you're postmenopausal or you've had a hysterectomy, yes, that changes your hormones, but you are still a female-bodied creature and you are still cycling. You are still in line with the earth and in line with the moon and experiencing these same ebbs and flows. I am still having my period, and I'm not sure about the whole perimenopause thing. Again, I think it's because we're all so out of whack. Most of us are so out of whack that so many women are having this experience, which, as far as I can tell, is a new thing, a new phenomenon. And I'm in my 40s, I'm not personally experiencing any of those like perimenopause symptoms, but I am still having a regular period. And so another thing that I have shifted is that I have started honoring that week for being a week where I will need more introspection, more rest, more quiet, and accepting that and allowing it and, really embracing it even, and not feeling guilty and not pushing through and not just seeing it as, oh, that's any other day of the month. And all of this has really helped me to feel more connected to my body. So I think in not honoring yourself in that way, it can lead to a disconnection. And, again, like I was saying about, in my postpartum periods, because I wasn't aware of that, because I wasn't honoring it, I was getting slammed with illness. I was just, I was being put down. And once I found that connection and started tuning in and understanding my needs, I really, I got, how do I want to say this? I started having a closer relationship with my body and with myself as a feminine being. And I mean, that just in and of itself is freaking magical. And part of that too, I stopped working like a man. So honoring myself as a woman, honoring my feminine energy has helped me to stop comparing myself to a male-bodied person who does have that steady linear drive for things. So I can actually harness peak productivity and really honor those times where I need rest and be okay with that and actually sync my business to it rather than fighting against it or pushing. And all of this has really led to having more energy, getting more done because there's less burnout and there's less need for recovery. So by doing less at certain times in the month, I think I actually get more because I don't have to recover from when I pushed through and was actually hurting my body. And this definitely wasn't just in my business, but also in my mothering. Mothering can be really, running a household is a very masculine energy thing. Like you really have to hold it all together for this, your entire family, and especially for your kids. Like you really have to be their container. You really have to give that your masculine energy. And so understanding this cyclical nature and doing it in that way, I also have applied to my job of being a mother too. Because let's face it, even if you're working, whether that's inside the home or outside of the home, online, in your community, whatever it is, if you're a mother, that is a whole job. I mean, gosh, that's like probably like 50 different jobs, right? You're like the chef and the cleaner and the, whatever, the manager. So, but applying it to that job of mothering as well. And not just that, but just life, creativity. Again, like I said, vacationing, like what's a good time to like travel. And it's really just a guidepost, something to look to and to help me understand myself more, to help me to tune in more and to be more closely aligned with myself. And if you're curious, I have an upcoming free workshop on this cycle syncing for productivity, and that is coming up on March 18th. There will be replays available, so I will link that in the show notes, and I would love to see you inside. Inside that class, we're going to learn about our 4 phases, how hormones affect energy, how to work with your cycle instead of working against it, just simple ways to start tracking. And again, this is for women who are postmenopausal, who are not having a bleed as well. We are going to learn about how we align with the energy of the moon and with the energy of the earth, and how to start honoring ourselves as cyclical beings, plus practical steps, tools to use in our daily lives. And once you understand your cycle, something really magical starts happening. You start to notice other areas where you have been been in your masculine overdrive, where you're craving softness, and you start opening up to leading with intuition, to trusting your body. Like, really, magic happens. You become closer to yourself. You become closer to your higher self. You become closer to your body. And it becomes a doorway into living a more pleasure-led life. So again, I will link my free workshop. And just remember, you are not a machine. You are not a man. You are a cyclical being. You are Mother Earth. You are aligned with the tides and the moon. And honoring and respecting that is going to be your key to feeling so much more pleasure in this life. I love you all. See you next time. And hopefully see you inside.